Today we will discuss responses to the assess risk, assessing risk of material misstatement, auditor responses, assessing risk in a computerized environment. Okay, so he says the risk of material misstatement. Misstatements, material means significant, which will make a difference. So always as an auditor, we forget what is not material. We take care of what is significant, which can make difference. Immaterial items we remove. For example, if I am auditing a CEO office and the CEO went somewhere, he didn't took the bill for taxi or for the food, maybe for 50 dirham, 100 dirham. So I will not be taking into it. Will not be a very big observation, which is suiting to the need and the situation of the CEO office. So we should find out something significant according to the size and relativity of the organization. See, there is a formula for materiality. So what we do is, it's a sort of Excel sheet. It's not one criteria, but we do consider what is your value of the assets, your liability, equity, your expenses, your income, and your transaction levels, like what is the highest transaction, what is the lowest transaction, what is an average, how much cash is coming, going, average. So some indicators define that what is the value that is significant for you. For some client it can be 50,000, some client it can be 500,000. So once auditor determine the materiality level, then any transaction below that number will be non-significant and we will not look into. We will check the upper than that, And I was giving you the example that suppose if I find 50 dirham bill missing from CEO side and I make it a report, so people will say, what is the significance of this? Say, okay, you apply auditing, you did a great job, but how we will analyze this kind of information? So information should be material, means if you highlight something and the board start knowing, oh yes, we should look into, like stock out reports, means the customers are coming and there is no stock available. This kind of report can create a significant importance for the management, because this is the one that they have to sort it, But any small things should not be a consideration. This is what we do. That's why we first define the risk materiality level and then we see if it is higher. So it's a combined assessment of inherent and control risk. There are three types of risk we should know. Audit risk, which is collectively we say audit risk. One is inherent, one is control, and one is detective. Inherent risk is the risk that is in the nature of the business. For example, if you are McDonald's, you don't accept credit card as a payment method, so cash is something that will come every day too much, so cash will create a risk for you. But if you are a software selling company, you have a software $1 million, every time client do a bank transfer, so you don't have cash risk, but you do have other kind of risk. So we say inherent risk is built-in risk in the nature of your business. For example, bank has default risk because they give money and they know that some of the customers would not be able to return it back. So they have an inherent risk of default. And control risk is inspired. You have effective control system, CC cameras, biometric machines, rules and regulation policies. Still, you will not be able to control the control related deficiencies. So for question purposes, you should know that inherent risk and control risk will contribute towards risk of material misstatement. We will not take the detective risk in the calculation. He says we do analysis on financial statement level. There are two approaches always. One is bottom up approach for auditing, means take the transaction check the ledger, then trial balance, then financial statement. This is bottom up. Top down approach is take the financial statement. So start with opposite, then income statement, then the trial balance, then ledger, and then your transactions. You have to decide according to your vision, your judgment, your assessment, your professional skepticism. You have to see which one is more effective. It depends on your experience also. For example, if you are too much into auditing, whenever you will see a financial statement, income statement, so your brain will tell you there is something good or bad. For example, you will say the sale is too high, receivable is too low, and when you inquire receivable, they say 80% sale on credit, right? So here you analyze, through financial statement, that there is something wrong, because if 80% is on credit, so receivable amount should be higher. So these kind of analytical relationship you develop when you are going to analyze from financial statement point of view. And of course, junior auditors will tell them, look, go in transaction, check, what is the story, is there any transaction unusual. He will find out, and we will dig later, so he will prepare his observations. So this is how both way we can do financial statement. Relevant assertions. Assertions means testings, right? So we use one word, cave crop, completeness. We check transaction is complete, accurate, reliable, it is completed properly, who own this, what are the rights, obligations. There are tests, So next few chapters we will do the testings. And then he says this should be related to the threat at the relevant assertion level. So for expenses, test will be different. For income, test will be different. For asset, it will be different. For equity, it will be different. Auditor consideration, the magnitude of the risk and likelihood of the material misstatement. If you feel there is lot of errors and mistakes and misstatements in the client in work, then your risk level will increase, then your sample level will increase, your working hour will increase, your plans will change accordingly. So this is what he